In this lesson, we are going to answer a couple of questions that are typically asked. Questions like, what is a Van de Graaff generator? What is it used for? What is the principle on which it works? And describe its construction and working. Now the first question is, what is a Van de Graaff generator? A Van de Graaff generator is a machine that is capable of building up very large voltages up to say about 6 to 8 million volts, which is, you have 6 zeros, to about 6 million to 8 million volts, which is an extremely large voltage. Now, why do we need to generate such high voltages? This is useful to accelerate charged particles like electrons, protons and ions, and then it is used in the study of particle physics to study the small scale structure of matter. Like if a sheet is bombarded with an extremely high velocity particle, then studying those reactions, it is possible to understand the structure of this matter. Next, we'll take a look at the principle on which this works. For an extremely high potential of the order of 6 to 8 million volts, or even if the potential is not so high, you need to build a large charge on a surface. And this large charge Q is built on a spherical shell by continuously transferring small amounts of charge Q to the shell. And this is done by bringing a small charge Q, placing it inside the shell and then connecting it to the outer shell. The small charge Q flows to the outer shell, and using this arrangement of transferring charge, a large amount of charge and hence a large potential is built up at the shell. We have a spherical shell on which a large charge Q has to be built up. So a small charge Q is introduced into the shell, and by a metallic contact, this charge is connected to the outer shell. This is a metallic contact, so charge can flow, and the charge Q flows from here to the shell. So this charge becomes Q plus Q. Then we once again bring a charge Q and introduce it into the shell and connect it. So you have a small charge Q. So this way, charge Q keeps adding up to the charge which is already present, and a very large amount of charge can be built up on this shell. Now let's understand that when we connect this charge Q, the object carrying the small amount of charge Q to the shell, then why does the charge flow in this direction? See, because normally what you've studied is, if suppose a conductor has a small charge Q and if you connect it to a conductor which has a charge capital Q, then the charge will not flow because this conductor is at a higher potential than this conductor. But in this case, the charge is flowing from the body carrying the smaller charge to the body carrying the larger charge, which means in this particular arrangement, the potential at the smaller charge is higher than the potential at the shell. So let's see why is that so. So now we are going to show that the potential at 1 is higher than the potential at 2. So you can see that the net potential at 1 is the potential due to Q, small q, and the potential due to capital Q. So if we look at the potential at 1, this is equal to the potential due to Q plus the potential due to the charge on the shell. Now the potential at 1 due to this small charge, and let's consider the radius of this small sphere as small r and the radius of the outer sphere as capital R. So the potential over here is going to be kq by small r, and the potential at 1 due to the charge on the shell is kq by capital R. See, this is an important point to note, that the potential on the shell and inside the shell is the same. The potential everywhere inside as well as on the shell is kq by capital R, and you can prove this because inside the shell the electric field is going to be 0. You can prove this using Gauss's law, that integral E dot ds is 1 by epsilon naught the charge enclosed. So if you consider any Gaussian surface over here, the charge enclosed, this charge, we're talking about the field due to the outer charge. So the charge enclosed, none of the charge Q, capital Q, is enclosed by a Gaussian surface that you take inside the shell. So the electric field due to the charge capital Q is 0, and if the electric field is 0, that implies that the potential is constant, because E is equal to minus dV by dr. So if there is no change in electric field, if the electric field is 0, there is no change in potential and the potential is constant. So the potential is same as the potential on the surface, and you know that the potential on the surface is kq by capital R. So inside the shell also the potential is kq by capital R. Now this sum gives us the net potential due to small q and capital Q at the point 1, which is at the center of the sphere. Now the potential at 2, once again due to small q and due to the larger q, is, this will be kq by capital R plus kq by capital R. So note that the potential at the surface at a distance r away from the charge q is kq by capital R, and the potential at the surface we know due to the larger charge is kq by R. Now if you compare equation 1 and 2, you can see that this term is the same, but this is a larger term than this because the denominator in this case is smaller. So the potential at 1 is greater than the potential at 2. So if V1 is greater than V2, which means that if you connect these two, charge will flow from the smaller sphere to the outer shell. So that is how charge is continuously built up in case of a Van de Graaff generator. Now let's see how is this transfer of charge realized in a real Van de Graaff generator. So we'll take a look at the construction of the generator. We have a large spherical shell which is supported on an insulating column. So this is the spherical shell on which we'll build up the large charge, and then you have a belt which is made of insulating material like rubber or silk, and which is wound around two pulleys. One pulley is placed over here at the ground level, and you have a second pulley which is placed over here at a higher level. And between these two pulleys you have a belt which runs over the pulleys and which is going to carry the charge. Now this pulley at the ground level, this one is driven by a motor. So you have a motor which is present over here. My drawing skills are not too great. This is more of a representative drawing. So you have a motor which is connected over here, and a brush is placed at the ground level, and this is the important part. We have a brush which is placed over here at the ground level, and which has sharp teeth like this, and let's say that this is positively charged. So the brush which is placed at the ground level sprays positive charge onto the belt. This charge is carried up by the belt to the second pulley, and when it reaches this region near the second pulley, you have another similar brush which is placed over here, which has sharp teeth. So you have this brush placed over here, and this brush is connected to the outer shell. Now the charges jump off to this brush, and then since this is connected to the outer shell, so the charge Q finally moves here, and you already have a certain charge Q present, so which means a charge Q will keep getting added to this, and this process continues. See, if you're asked to write the working of a Van de Graaff generator, then you need to describe the construction and also the principle on which it works. See, there might be this one little point bothering you, that how does the charge get transferred over here? How does the charge from the positively charged comb move to the belt? See, what happens is, let's say this is the positively charged comb. Now you have a collection of charges at the ends of the comb which are sharp. See, the comb has a large positive charge, so this positive charge attracts the negative charge or electrons from the belt. These electrons jump across the gap because the field is high. So the electrons from the belt, these are the electrons from the belt, these jump across to the positive charge, to the positively charged comb, and when these electrons from the belt jump to the comb, a net positive charge is left on the belt. Similarly, when the positive charge moves up to this end, and you have the positive charge on the belt over here, and this is a large positive charge, and you have the comb placed over here, and let's say the comb is neutral. Now electrons from the comb will be attracted, and electrons from the comb will jump onto the belt, and when the electrons jump off, then a positive charge is left on the comb. A Van de Graaff generator can be used to create both a positive potential on the shell or a negative potential on the shell.